Hi there. Is there anyone out there? Um, Give me a thumbs up if you are. I can't really see if there is anyone there. Um, and I haven't actually done many of these live streams, so I'm not really sure how they work. But basically, if you're out there, just say hello. Okay, I can see there's one person out there. Welcome. So I'm trying to do a live stream because I've been trying to upload a video on the giving an energy update, because there's new moon today in Aquarius, and just talking about the energies that as we've had them for the last few weeks and what we can expect in the next couple of weeks. And unfortunately, I've been trying to upload. I've edited the video and created the file, etc. But my hard drive, which I stored it on, won't. It's just not recognized by my laptop or my daughter's, and I just don't know what else to do with it. So I decided to come out here and give you the information directly, and hopefully this will work. And I hope that you can hear me well. I hope the audio is decent, and I hope that I hope that we can actually have perhaps a discussion about this as we go along. So I don't know if there's a chat option here. If there is, just write to me and you can ask me questions as we go along. And so basically, I want to talk about what's been going on with the energy. And what's really been going on is that there's been a lot of turbulence. There's been a lot of stuff that's come to the fore. And it's come to the fore in many different ways in our lives. And it would have impacted us in different ways, for some financially, for some in terms of your love life, for others in terms of, their career or in terms of their health, etc. So it's really a time where in the last couple of weeks, last 3 weeks or so, I would say, there's been quite a lot of irritation, frustration, difficulty, quite a lot of questions up in the air, and just trying to figure out how can we go ahead from here and what do we do with all of this energy and all this upheaval. And a lot of things might be just really up in the air. It might be something that you feel like you really need to focus on, or you can't quite ignore. It's been in your face, so to say. And so this is what we've been dealing with in the last few weeks. And I think this is what we're going to be dealing with as we go ahead in the next couple of weeks as well. And so this new moon right now is an important new moon for the fixed signs and for those of you who are feeling or have some kind of link to Aquarius, or whether it's your moon sign or your obviously your sun sign, or also in term if it's your rising sign, it's going to have some kind of impact on you. It's going to be a new beginning for you, and for everyone else, I think it's just going to be an irritation, especially for the other fixed signs. And so in terms of being an irritation, I think it's just, what I mean by that is that it can be irritating in terms of bureaucracy, in terms of just allowing things to flow. It stops the flow. It stops the actual development of things, or the evolution of things, and it asks you to stand still and look at what's really going on in your life right now, and how it is that you can develop, and how it is that you need to go forward. And in many ways, it's almost asking you to stop and just to be still and listen to what's coming up. And a lot of what's coming up right now is kind of a new approach to things. It's asking you to take a new look at how you approach things. So these may be things that it might be patterns or relationships for that you've had all your life, or for several decades, or for quite a long time in your life, perhaps family relationships, or perhaps your relationship to your work, your relationship to yourself, your relationship with your health, etc. And so these are questions that are coming up, and it's asking you now to redefine those relationships. It's asking you to take a different look, to go in a different direction, and to approach this from a different way. And what it's really asking you to do is for you to strip away all that is unnecessary. So that is the most important thing for you right now. So welcome to the three of you who are here for now. I see that a few have come in and left already. But yeah, so I'm just basically talking about the energy. If you've just come in, I'm just talking about what it is that you can experience and what it is that you'll be experiencing going forward. And so it's really talking, this time is really about, what is it that we can leave behind? What is it that no longer suits us? And how is it that it's still a part of our lives? So if we look at it, a lot of the ideas that we have about life have been inherited by your parents, by your culture, by your tradition, etc. And this is the time in which we can look at all of that and be able to say, well, actually, that doesn't suit me anymore, or that doesn't allow me to evolve, and that doesn't allow me to move ahead. So I'm just going to um, stop right now, and I'm going to see what actually fits my position at this moment, and how can I go ahead without actually taking all of that baggage with me. So it's very much a time of being able to leave behind karmic bonds, being able to leave behind karma in terms of if you follow a particular religion, for instance, and that itself has a particular karma, that itself has a lot of baggage which comes with it, because it's this energy right now is talking about you and your relationship to yourself and your relationship to that which you believe in terms of your faith. But then there's all this other baggage that comes along with a religion, for instance, and it's almost asking you to say, well, actually, I release that, and it's just about me and my relationship to the divine, in whichever way you define that. And so there's also the sense that the way in which you move ahead has to be something that's completely comfortable for you. It's something that completely need to be at one with. It's not something that you can have some kind of discomfort about, but then you accept some parts of it, and then you decide, well, the other parts I don't accept anymore. It's almost like you need right now to be really clear and really sure about what it is that you need to go ahead, and how it is that you will be defining your relationship to the divine. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and leave them here. I'm not sure where to actually see them. I see there is a live chat here. And I'm not sure if there is, well, if somebody would write me a message, it would be nice, so I can see if there is, I can see if it comes up. Yeah, so what else is coming up right now? I think this is a really interesting time in terms of being able to access other realms, to be able to find and define one's pathways and one's highway of life, and there's many ways in which this unravels, and there's many ways in which you can take this. And so, hi, Jess, thanks for coming through. Yeah, I can see that you are one of the participants. That's great. Okay, so so when we're talking about the earthly plane, we're talking about society, we're talking about what's expected of us. You know, what is important is that when we choose a particular path right now, as we go along with it, it will continue to be our pathway in 15 years from now, 30 years from now. It will continue to be that pathway. So if you're choosing a pathway, let me give you an example. Let's just say you're somebody who is afraid of, well, let's just say you fight for justice. You fight for what is the right thing to do. Okay. Well, what's going to happen is that you might be thinking that's a really noble thing to do, and that's the right thing to do, and then you go along with that and you feel quite satisfied with yourself. But what happens is that you're kind of defining a highway for yourself, a pathway, a trajectory for yourself, which you won't be able to get off. And so life will continue to give you things that you'll need to fight for, things that you need to fight against, things injustices that you'll be confronted with, which you'll need to fight against. So and that's just one example that I'm giving you, right? So if you are in a situation where you feel like you need to fight for something, or something is wrong and you need to do that, you're going to be constantly confronted with that, and that's going to go on for quite some time. So as I mentioned a couple of years ago in my I think there was an energy forecast I did at the end of 2019, which was quite a significant one, in which I talked about the decade and the energy of the decade. And we are in the midst of it already. We really started up in it, and we are full on in this energy, and this energy is a very defining energy in terms of where you're going to. And so it's very important to think about what is it that you want to create for yourself, and what is it that you want to create for the world that you're in, and how is it that you want to be a part of this world. These are all really, really important questions. And how is it that these are important questions. Well, I think that if you have to ask yourself whether you want to be somebody who's here fighting, whether you're a warrior, or whether you're here to enjoy your life, or whether you're here to experience your freedom, whether you're here to completely access your freedom, whether you're willing to give up some of your freedoms for a cause. Those are all important questions that are coming up right now. And I feel like this energy, it's almost like a pressure cooker. It almost feels like it's coming down really hard, and for some of us anyway, for some of you perhaps as well. And it's just a lot of big questions. Should I go ahead in this relationship? Should I go and take that job? Should I move in this pathway? Should I take that house? Why isn't um, my living situation improving? Or where shall I move to? Which direction shall I go into? And so all of these questions just come up right now, and they are very pertinent questions. And it's almost like you're trapped in it and you can't really move ahead in it. And so it's like saying, okay, well, here I am, and I've got to deal with all these different things that are coming up right now. And perhaps some of you are just dealing with one or two of those things, but it's pretty hardcore anyway. If you don't know where you're going to be living, if you don't know which path you're going to be taking in terms of your life, in terms of your career, in terms of your relationship. And so these are really big questions, and it's basically asking you to, hi Jolita, welcome. It's basically asking you to, well, what are you going to do with all this energy? And you can't really do too much with it. So you almost like need to just calm down, take a chill pill, as they call it, and just relax and go with the flow, because this energy is going to take us until, I think, like around February or so. And at the end of February, sorry, it's going to take us until the end of February. And I think just as we reach March, we're going to be able to just take a deep breath and just be able to say, okay, well, the energy is definitely shifted now. It's definitely moved in a different direction. And in the meanwhile, as we are here in the middle of this month with this new moon, there's this new opportunity to be able to think about life differently, to be able to look at things differently. And, as if you've been on my channel for a while, then I often talk about authenticity, and I often talk about what is the right path for one's life, or one's soul evolution. I also talk about healing wounds that we may have. And now is the time, it's almost like a crux for you to be able to heal those wounds, to be able to let go of things, to be able to define your direction, and to be able to move ahead with it. And I think this is why it's important, it's really important right now to be able to understand, where do you fit in all of this. Now, to go back, I want to talk briefly about the different pathways that we are taking. And so I talked about the highways of life that we are taking, the way in which we moving ahead in terms of the world streams, the highways of life, the trajectories that you want to move along on. But I also want to talk about astral travel a little bit, because this time is actually an interesting time for us to engage in astral travel, to be able to escape some of the worldly constraints, some of the worldly heaviness that we experience as earthly beings, some of the stuff that's holding us behind. And if you're one of those people that have been trying to do something and you felt that it's just been stagnant, it's not been moving, and if you're somebody who's just been stuck in a way, then I think that, hi Bia, nice to see you guys here. So it's what I was trying to say is that if you feel a bit stuck, if you feel the stagnancy in your life, or if you feel like things have been moving but you haven't really been able to shake off some kind of heaviness, or if you feel like like you feel like lead sometimes, you just can't get going, you just can't do things, or things just seem so difficult, you just feel like you're being blocked in all ways, then I feel that is a kind of energy right now that you can escape by doing astral travel, by meditating, by living your life on a different plane and being able to access your freedom there. Because as I was saying, this energy, it has this pressure cooker feel. And although we'll have some kind of relief from it around March or so, I think what's going to happen is that as we go ahead in life, as we go ahead in this decade, you're going to find that rears its ugly head in more than one way, many way times as we go along. And so it's really important now to be able to get to that space of calm and peace in oneself, to be able to train oneself to in the way in which you respond to things, and to be able to really focus on one's mind and control one's thoughts and control one's being in a way. And as I said I don't remember everything that I said in the recording that I did earlier. Unfortunately, I channeled it, and so it's difficult for me to kind of go back and get that information. But I remember one or two things, and one of the things that I said there was that it's like you could be, in the Himalayas, or you could be, or as some people pronounce it, the Himalayas. So you could be there, or you could be in a prison cell, and you need to be able to feel the same amount of freedom and in control of one's being, oneself, because that's your spirit, and that is all that you have. Actually, all the material things and all the accolades and all the relationships, etc., are outside of you, and all of these things will come to an end in some way or another at some point. And as simply because we're mortal. And but the one thing that you have is this ability to be with yourself in a very open and a very free way, and to be able to access that power that you have as an individual in yourself, regardless of what your environment looks like, regardless of whether your dreams are coming true or not, regardless of what is being imposed upon you or not. And I think that that is the kind of energy that is vacant to be occupied right now. And all the turbulence or all the busyness. For some, it's not turbulence; it's just a lot of busyness. A lot of things going on. Just a lot happening in the last few weeks and in the next couple of weeks as well. And I feel that just to escape that, the place to go inward, the place to go to is inward, and to be able to also go on astral travel and to delve into some of that if you're into that kind of thing. So that is, I think, most of the messages that I tried to record and upload earlier, but I was unsuccessful at. So if you have any questions, and if there's anyone who wants to ask anything, I don't know if you can actually write here. Um, can you write here? I just see who the participants are, but I don't see anyone. I don't know if anyone can actually write here. Um, can somebody write something to me? And if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask me. Oh, and give me a like if you actually appreciate what I'm saying or doing here. That would be nice. Oh, Marcello, nice to see you here. So, for those of you who've just joined, I thank you for the extra like. For those of you who just joined, I'm just doing a little chat. I'm just chatting about the energy, and we have a new moon today in Aquarius, which and I think that there might have been quite a lot of energy moving around you, whether it's in the form of turbulence or busyness in the last few weeks, and whether it's the health of oneself or a loved one or financial matters or just a whole range of things. And I was just talking about why that energy is that way, and how it is that we can move forth, and what is this energy good for, and how can this energy actually work for us. So if you have any questions, I just don't see where the chat, like I don't see a chat box in my screen here. um hmm. All right, so I think I'm going to I don't. Yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. Um, so I don't know where the. I just don't seem to have a chat box. I don't know if there's like some place where you can write. Are you actually writing? Is there some way you can tell me about this? All right. So I think, well, that's all I wanted to say for today. And I can't see like any chat box here. I'm sorry. It's the first time I've done this in a long time. And maybe I need to um, get some practice doing this again, and perhaps we could do this in another time. I'm happy to do this now and again, and it's lovely to be here and to be with all of you. And I just want to wish you all well. I hope you're all staying safe and happy, and everything's going well in your lives. So let me know how it's going, and perhaps if you can't actually chat to me here right now, you could leave a comment and ask me your questions, and I'll do my best to answer you. All right, so I'm gonna tune out, and I just want to wish you all very well. Blessings abound from Kismet Rising. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for joining me today. Lots of love to you all. Bye for now.